Yes, sure.
So anyway, if you have any questions.
It's always one. So that takes. That would be, we have a note
Okay, great. Actually, the one also. I know you have to carry a lot of stuff in, but I would like signing there, okay? About how it's usually done here, I said, well.
I don't feel we're gonna have this situation. Based on that. Sure.
That's okay. I figured I'd ask you, in case you didn't see my email back. Please sign in. What part of the book does he go to? I didn't grow up
We was right across the lake, and we were right on the lake.
I have stories about that, that people live there, because I was in a blood run called My Girl, that was at Long Pond, at on the grounds at the Speedway. And they said that it was warm last year, or the year I guess it was 22, but they said the year before it had been 38 degrees. And that's a blood run, full immersion. And they still did it, and they said it was sleeting that morning, it was really beautiful.
We didn't have sleep.
If he's not actually
Yeah.
in
Oh,
It was and they put you.
I'm excited to see because they have graduation in that area. So I'm excited to see what
No, it is none of it. The worst one, cold, I didn't.
It's only 4 p.m.
no, I was gonna have you actually go to, I don't know, therapy. Yeah.
I don't know if you're going shopping, you're hanging around. You know, so you're getting acclimated, you've already changed the years. When trucks and stuff, so you just kind of like, oh God.
Oh yeah, he's gonna start out at the gate making more time.
I've heard of some of this partners.
We were told
They
that.
Yep.
It's like jumping over fireplace.
Yeah, wow, they call it fireplace.
I know.
It's
We could just put our hand in 35 minutes.
not as impressive as that.
He goes, but he
The
goes up
pictures
really
you see, though,
fast.
they
And
do
I
like
said,
that.
"Oh,
Pros through it, so it's nice to understand to make first.
Not that that's
They seriously, like, one.
Call the meeting to order.
That's pretty.
Face the flag and pledge allegiance.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stacy, could you take roll call, please?
Ms. Cook? Ms. Falcone? Here. Mr. Haney?
Here.
Ms. Hassler?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Polinsky?
Here.
Mr. Stout?
Here.
Mrs. Stout?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. I'd like to make a note for the record that we have executive sessions on both May 14th and June 4th of 2024 regarding our labor negotiations with the Teamsters Local 773 and personnel matters regarding hiring of a part-time administrative assistant. There are no minutes?
Correct.
All right, so we'll move on to communications.
The first item is from Redeemer Bible Fellowship Church for their annual block party. They would like to have it this year on August 17th, a Saturday, from 3 to 7 p.m., just like they did last year. They'll include the basketball tournament. That'll be from about noon to 6. So they're looking for permission to use the park area.
Does anybody have any opposition to that? Is that in the motion?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion to approve the,
We'll make a motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
And the next item under communications is the letter from the Borough Planning Commission, current Vice Chair, Julie Pummer. You should have also received plans to go along with this letter.
Did everybody have a chance to review this? Does anybody have any questions? Comments?
Mr. Hoagland Mr. Hoagland is here with the plan if anybody on council has any questions about it.
I have just one question, and that is with parking. That lot line adjustment that you're doing, is that allowing for any parking behind that apartment building? No.
So the lot line adjustment, what we have, let me introduce myself, Jeremy Hogan from the Crossroads Group, an engineer and surveyor for this. And with me is Mr. Josh Bupa, the applicant. I did not bring my easel, so I'm gonna have to hold it.
You're gonna hold it there or anything?
So we're proposing no improvements. What we have is 2 existing lots. One lot actually exists here with a prefab shed. The other lot has an apartment and a single-family residence. We're shifting the lot line to include the shed with the residence and keep the apartment building on its own. We did allow, the required is 30-foot rear yard setback. The existing site has a list of existing non-conformities because of the nature of the site. We did make it 28 feet. We didn't show any proposed parking. We tried to meet lot area criteria first as best we could. So we have 28 feet behind the building, but we don't have any proposed parking with that. However, we're making no other improvements. We're not expanding the use. It's there as it is today.
I'm only asking about it because, many of the apartments in our community require some amount of parking per unit, like 2 spaces per unit. And this is non-conforming, and I wasn't sure if they were gonna put something in there for that apartment building.
No, not this time. It's just a lot line. It's a re-subdivision.
All right, thank you.
If there's any more questions, I'm happy to answer.
So is any new paving going to be done for parking?
No new improvements at all. It's simply just shifting a really unique small lot line, shifting it, trying to get the 2 primary uses on each lot.
Right. No, the appearance is not going to change. All it changes is the legal description and the line on the plan.
That's right.
How many units are in the apartment?
5.
Thank you.
But it looks like it makes more sense this way.
Yeah, it does, it looks good, I saw where they put the stakes, it looks, I mean, I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah, and I mean, I went to the planning commission meeting and I heard you say it's non-conforming now, it's gonna be non-conforming when we're done, but it would make more sense.
Yeah.
We improved on non-conforming, so we
Yeah.
couldn't address everyone.
It is what it is.
Unless you want to condemn roads and give it to us.
Be careful what you ask for. So I guess we'll be looking for a motion to approve the subdivision as proposed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that both of them?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, this one. Mayor's report, Jack.
Attended the Memorial Day Parade up to the cemetery where they had a really nice service. Again, thank you to all that are serving and have served. And if anybody gets a chance to go downtown, there's a art mural project at the one building that's pretty nicely done. Take a look at that. Thought that was pretty nice. Kendra did it. I was talking to her, she was painting it. She put a lot of time and effort into it. That's all I got.
And to piggyback on that, that's all the stuff that helps us get grants and things when we're telling the story of, you know, hey, we take care of our storm drains, or have this forward stuff, they like that stuff, so that's pretty cool. Thank you, guys. We don't have anyone from Fleetwood at the moment. If they show up, we can jump back to them. Hearing visitors, does anybody have any comments or anything?
I have a comment.
Sure.
The last meeting I was at, I asked the question why minutes weren't being provided before they were approved, and tonight we had no minutes. I was told at the meeting last time that check the website. I checked the website today at 6:00 p.m. and the only minutes that are posted, the last minutes that are posted are March. So I was told to check the website. I checked the website, the minutes aren't posted. Any reason for that?
They have not been approved. They have not been brought to council as of yet.
So you have 2 months worth of minutes that have not been brought to council.
That's correct.
And the council's okay with that?
Yes.
I'm not okay with it
Again,
either.
it's not ideal, but you know, there are
It's-
certain tasks that take priority over it.
So if not to be devil's advocate, so if you force an ordinance on somebody, they can come up with an excuse and they don't have to follow it? Because minutes are very important when it comes to borough.
Understood. They
Are
are
they not?
imperative and they're.
Right, for the 100th time, it's noted.
Okay, I just don't think it's,
It's
right.
We know how you feel.
and it seems like borough's just accepting it the way it is, and
We're also short-staffed at the moment. That position is not full.
Bigger fires to put out.
Yes, there's a lot.
It's being
going on.
recorded right now. You can see every word that we said anytime you want to.
are the minutes being printed and being put out?
Obviously, we're behind on that.
Okay,
What assistance would you need? What assistance would you need to get that process going? Do you need somebody to transcribe the video, the audio?
Yep.
Is that?
Priority in my mind is money. It's always to deposit those payments that we've received, to make sure that our billing is correct then, and late notices. So in order to segregate duties in the office, that's priority, because Trinda and I cannot do the same thing. And this past month or two has been processing payments, getting late notices out, and getting a second bill out to commercial and industrial clients. So that was priority amongst all the other priorities.
I have a question that I was
But
asking,
thank
what
you,
what
yeah.
help you might need. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you need people, volunteers, whatever.
Yeah,
That would be great.
to
That would be wonderful.
transcribe. Do you transcribe word for word, you know, that sort of thing, so.
No, we don't.
I can do that, so.
Yep, it's not transcription, it is
Work on that.
summarization, paraphrasing. That would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because we're a community, we need to help each other.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stacy, do you have a plan, to get these out, like how to, a plan of attack for addressing this, so it doesn't get too out of hand?
Well, I'm gonna start working weekends soon, because that's the only plan that I
I'm
can
saying, like,
see.
I didn't know if there's like, maybe you're trying to find some people in our community, like, got someone here that.
Well, we were trying to hire a person, a third person for the
Yeah, I
office.
understand, but I mean, until we could find someone, I just didn't know if maybe you were looking at
Nope,
other avenues.
just-
maybe.
Trying to stay nights and weekends from this point forward.
Thank you.
I also have a very brief report from the library, but I'm wondering whether maybe the library should be added to the end, the old business where the other community organizations are on a regular basis, and I'll
If we can talk, if you'd like to, I don't think that's a bad idea. But if you have something now, we'll go right ahead.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to bring you up to date. Amber has taken Sheldon to visit every classroom, kindergarten through 6, to promote this, yes, everyone, to promote the summer program, which started this week. A lot going on there. There will be ASL, American Sign Language classes being offered. There are STEM, crafting, Dungeons and Dragons. The Bat Sanctuary is coming for presentations, so that's pretty cool. But I want to just share with you, it was really exciting that the teen program read a book about someone with cancer and decided they wanted to do something, and they made care packages for pediatric cancer patients, and they took 94 care packages to go to Lehigh Children's Hospital. So there's just awesome stuff going on there. Please go up, please check, Facebook or their calendar on their website, and come visit us. And then if you put me on at the end next time, I'll just come every time and give you a little update.
I think we get it, you do that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay.
Hey, what I wanna talk about is gonna come up later. You want me to just wait till then?
For things on the agenda?
If it's already on the
Okay.
agenda, we can just do that. All right, there's nothing else specific, then we'll move on to the solicitor's report.
Okay, first item is 546 Celia Avenue. That is a property with sewer rental charges delinquent and property maintenance violation penalties. And we have placed both the owner of record and the professional guardian of the owner of record, which is Elder Care Solutions in Williamsport, on notice that if the filing of a municipal lien would become necessary, that the borough will assess attorney's fees, court costs, and filing fees incurred by the township in the collection of the delinquent charges in addition to the charges. That requires 30 days notice. That notice was sent via certified mail on May 24th. So on June 23rd, if those charges are not paid, then a municipal lien will be filed, which will include court costs and attorney's fees in addition to the delinquent balance of $1733.03. I've also been in touch with Megan at Elder Care Solutions, which is the guardian that was appointed by the Court of Common Pleas of Berks County, and advised them of the condition of the property, and that if the property was being occupied, it was not being lawfully occupied, and that they needed to get arrangements in place for the maintenance of the property, remediation of the property, in order to avoid further liens. But anyway, notice was sent to both the owners of record, also to the son of the owners of record. So we'll continue to monitor that. The next item, a similar property maintenance item and possible lien item is 534 Marshall Avenue. We had talked about that at the last meeting. Since the last meeting, there was a notice of violation that was issued, and a notice that the property was unfit for human habitation because of the water having been disconnected, and it appears that there's no one living there. And the question arose, and this is for council's discretion, as to at what point the borough wants to file municipal liens. Some municipalities have a threshold, others it's on a case-by-case basis, and the question is, with this property, because of it having been placarded as unfit for human habitation, condemned is the word that was used, would you authorize the filing of municipal liens?
Is that owned by a bank or is that by an individual?
534 Marshall, I believe, is still in the name of the individual. I don't believe that it is.
Never foreclosed on it?
I don't believe there's been a foreclosure as of yet.
And our staff is now maintaining the outside, at least part of it, at our cost and time.
Right, and those costs can be liened.
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yes, we're tracking it.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Well, we probably should if we're ever gonna get that money back, right?
I mean, in the event that the property would go to sheriff's sale, or in the event that the owner of record would file for bankruptcy, either way, it ends up on with a bankruptcy-approved claim with a sheriff's sale on the schedule of distribution. You might not get everything, it might be pennies on the dollar, but at least it puts you in line to get something.
That makes sense to me, so.
We can't pass that lien on, it's just a foreclosure to the lender.
Well, you can pass it along to the lender, and again, if it is sold at a foreclosure sale, or if the lender takes it, it would be subject to that lien. It's only when you get into beyond the tax upset sale that you have to be concerned about liens not being paid and liens being cleared, like if it goes to the free and clear sale or to the repository sale, but yeah, that's a long way off.
It's 2 years.
So what do you need from us?
Authorization to file the lien against the property at 534 Marshall Avenue.
Okay, so I'll be looking for a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Legal executive and Carol.
Okay.
Okay, Stacy, we'll contact, our office will contact you to get the exact figures for the lien, the amounts that for mowing the grass, as well as other delinquencies and property maintenance penalties, and we'll begin the process. Okay, temporary construction easement for Washington Street Pump Station Replacement Project. That would be with Lehigh Industries to allow staging of equipment on the field during the pump station replacement project. I will be glad to prepare a temporary construction easement for that limited period of time for their execution. I apologize for not having it done tonight's meeting, at a family emergency, but we'll be prepared shortly. I think it was authorized at the last meeting. I think we discussed it was authorized, so I will, I'll.
And the property owner's been very cooperative.
Yeah, I contacted the property owner right after the last meeting, and they're in full agreement with the idea. Okay, meeting with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 773, Attorney Boland met with Borough Council and gave an update. That's the executive session that was referenced earlier in the agenda. I don't have anything more to report, unless council has any questions.
All right. Thank you, John.
All right, thanks.
Stacy?
Okay. Since the last meeting, we received the liquid fuels audit for all of 2020 through all of 2022. It's available for anyone to review. We want to thank the Topton Borough Company for the appreciation lunch that they had last week for the area municipalities. We will be meeting with the Fleetwood Police because midway during the contract, it's in the contract to meet and review, chat, see what's working, see what's not working. So that is in June, it will be scheduled, and then we'll report back in July.
So if anybody has
Yeah, if you
specific
need
questions, specific
anything
points,
addressed, please
you
just
wanna
let
talk
us
about
know, yeah.
I think you can make the meeting as well.
Yeah. Just so we don't have quorum, you know? Yep. Okay. The roof of the Public Works building was completed and then inspected by Key Codes Inspections, and Barry, I sit on a regular basis, was performing the on-site reports to the borough. So that worked out very well, working with our staff at Public Works as well. The training for the GIS software that we'll be using was attended by staff, and it'll contain now the utilities. So anything with water, anything with sewer, any other things that Public Works finds imperative to cite on a GIS map. We worked with, the representative of the Home Road watershed property within our watershed. She was having trouble with communicating with PennDOT, so we helped out. So hopefully it gets through to the HOP approval process soon for them. Our auditors are now completing the single audit for 2023 as well as the financial statements for 2023. Now, because it's a busy time, they're fitting in the work, and hopefully by the end of the summer, they'll have it completed, which is about the same time as the last auditor did that. But they've already finished one for us, so we'll have 3 for council to review in the future. We also started preparing our work for the 2025 budget, trying to communicate with the other organizations in Topton. As I said before, we did have commercial and industrial water and sewer invoices going out after the April 25th date. They went out May 25th. We apologize for the delay to commercial and industrial clients of ours for water sewer services, and the delay was pretty much caused by processes in our software and having them match up with the current ordinances. That's all I have for the report. Any questions? No? Okay. As last year and the previous year, I attended the PAMA conference, and PAMA stands for PA Association of Municipal Administrators. Again, this year, last year it was in Penn State area. This year it's in Erie. As the last few years, I bring it to council for their approval for my attendance.
Anybody have any questions on that one?
Well, I do, only because it means Stacy will be away for 4 days and it's a significant cost. I mean, if it's something that's every year, is it something, I mean, we're talking about tightening up everything, it's not that I'm against you going, obviously, I'm sure there's benefits to it, but the
No, you're right,
cost is
you know,
their
there's,
concern.
Understood.
Cause you're talking car rental, gas, hotel, food, I'm sure there's probably a fee to go.
yeah.
Maybe every other year, at this point, we really shouldn't, I don't.
No, I agree, I think it's a beneficial thing, but it's,
I mean, there's definitely benefits.
we just don't have any luxuries right now.
You know, but.
Plus we're behind the office with.
Yeah, that's another
Exactly the
thing.
way it is.
Okay, I'll let them know, because I am on the board now, so. Okay. All right. Next item is from PIMIC, Pennsylvania Municipal Health Insurance Cooperative. We received our first distribution, plus a little bit of a supplemental from the previous 2022 surplus distributions. So that's combined in the 18,000 plus check that we received. Total amount was $18,255.06. So for the 2023 surplus only, first half is $17,417. Previously in past years, council has approved paying each employee who is covered by this insurance the cost of their premiums for that year based on individual coverage only.
I don't think we don't have a choice in this, right?
We don't.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, looking for a motion to distribute the surplus as we have in past years.
How do we get a choice?
No. I'm not agreeing to that.
I don't agree with it either.
We can.
I don't think.
I don't
it is
either, but
stable. We
it's-
have to maintain, we can't.
Well, that's an elective thing, it's not in the
That's
con-
voted on
It
every
doesn't
year.
matter.
every year we vote on
We've
it.
set precedents though, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Well, let's take a vote on it.
Okay.
Or do a roll call vote,
What's that?
do a roll call vote.
Roll call
please.
vote.
Yeah, if it's not gonna be unanimous.
We can get penalized
From
if we
who?
say no.
Who's gonna penalize?
So O'Neill,
Yeah, let's talk about it before we vote. This falls under that,
Status quo.
Status
I
quo,
believe.
right, right, and this is something that has been in place for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I would advise that you keep the status quo, but that you bring it up in the bargaining sessions with the union. I think it's something that definitely should be bargained. I'm not saying it's not something that should be questioned. But I think that this year, while you're in the midst of collective bargaining, the appropriate thing to do is keep it this year and then make sure that, that Attorney Boland is aware of it and make sure that it is an item for bargaining if it's something that you feel that the borough can't continue to afford.
I would request we table this, so we speak with our attorney on this matter.
we did speak with him about this, and he didn't say anything about status quo. He knew it had been come up for vote before and voted in favor, so we can vote again, however we think.
It's
is
not
right
even a
for the
request
borough.
of their proposal, it's not even an issue that's even on the table, so.
I mean, if you wanna table it and ask him, you can, but I'll bet you that he's gonna say that that's part of the
Okay,
status
is it
quo.
I think this is something that can be tabled to next month, and I think that may be the advisable
Yeah,
thing to do.
let's do that.
Okay.
Cause I agree with you in principle, I just don't wanna
Absolutely. I think we all do.
get nailed to the wall for it.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Stacy. Alright, committee reports, Carol, you're up first.
Okay, we have, don't know how much everybody's aware of a very big project going on, Oak Alley, landscaping, rain garden, all sorts of neat things, pavement, and so I've been working with contact to guide them as to what trees are appropriate for the area, and they're sort of looking at a table that says soil conditions. But they're not familiar with Topton, they don't know South Home Avenue down near the bank floods when we get heavy rains. And some of the trees will not do well in an area they don't like wet, is the saying for that. So I've just been advising them on that. I gave them a different selection, changed some of the ones that they were proposing that are very messy trees that would, if people are walking the walkway, it would be hazardous unless somebody's out there cleaning up every day when they're in their dropping stuff season. So I've been working on that, and that seems to be going well. We're now gonna have, talking about perennials that'll go in the rain garden. I think they have a pretty good list already, but I'm gonna get into that with them also. Source water protection plan, I have, obtained at no cost to the borough a number of new brochures that can be used. Some can be put in the newsletter, some can be scanned for the internet. They can be put, a couple of them on the bulletin board here, and whatever space we have, I know I took it up completely last year. The countertop in the office where people stop and do their water bill. They don't all have to go now, but there's all sorts of different ones. That are new, people haven't seen that, are good. Also put up around town flyers talking about rain barrels, and a lady who coordinates, and they have training sessions where you can go and get a discount on the rain barrel and the paints, and if you want to paint the rain barrel, you can pay it. So that's been distributed throughout town, actually down also at Radcliffe's and the post office, Mergetown Post Office, a lot of people are down there, so that's good education, and it would be wonderful. I've actually heard from a bunch of people, handful of people, that they're very interested and they want to get rain barrels, so I'm also gonna look into seeing if she can, if we have enough people, we might want to do a survey that you've talked about in the past, that we get good results, Stacy. Where you put online, I guess, a survey and say, find out if there's enough people, if they would come here. I don't know if that's possible or not, but, so
So I've been, working on that. MS4, well, actually, part of the education is MS4. Which is very important. I'm also coordinating the person who ran the training sessions, 2 of them last year, has been moved to a different part of the state, so there's somebody new who's, I think he's new to the Master Watershed Steward Program. Because he's not wanting to do the training himself. He said he's gonna try and get people together, coordinate with the library. They have time in August, so he feels he'll certainly have people online to do that training in August. So that's with that. And thank you to the community volunteer who did the Storm Green mural. I don't know if you all saw it, it's very pretty. Excellent art project. So, and that's great education and eye-catching. And I guess that's all for tonight.
Did you want to say anything about the signs?
Yes, thank you. Also, we're ready to order, since our last meeting, we got permission from PennDOT to put up the signs. They must be, a minimum size is 36 by 36 inches, which is the size of a card table. The other ones that I see out and around,
They are that big.
and I measured, well, I found them 29 inches by 24 inches. So,
Probably have
older
to
ones
update
maybe.
it, yeah.
So these are gonna be huge. I know someone, a relative in the sign making business in New England, who said 36 by 36 is great on a highway where you have 3 lanes of traffic and people are doing 60 miles an hour, so it's gonna be giant. But anyway, from that said, we must do 36 by 36. So I think the total amount on that, it's 107 per sign, we need to put up 5. And there'll be some delivery charges, small delivery charges. So do I need to get that approved? That's part of our source water protection plan.
It should have the motion, yes.
Okay. Did I make it clear what's gonna happen?
5 signs, 36 by 36.
So you're looking between $500 and $600 for.
Right. I'm not really sure how to do it. Stacy, you didn't think it was gonna be much.
No, for 4 signs, it was, $4.28 for the signs and $4 for freight, that's it. So if we add 1 more sign, then I got a quote for another, it's about $540.
So if it's at 600, even if there's a surprise with.
Alright, so I'd be looking for a motion to approve up to about $600 for.
We have to put them in.
Yeah, we have to do it.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not being forced to do it, but it's a smart thing to do.
It's in our source water protection
Yeah,
plan,
absolutely,
so we're.
absolutely.
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And there's one other thing I was leaving out. Message center. Ethan had provided me with something from Newline, as an example where we could put both entrances, one at each entrance to the watershed, and then a walking path, one at each end, and you can put, so it's big tall sticks, very nice area with a lock and plastic that they said will not break. So you can put messages up in there, educate people why they shouldn't be throwing their soda cans or bottles in the creek, and it's really a great opportunity. So I did quite a bit of research, and I didn't really find anything to compare with what Uline had. I was actually hoping, I talked to the Boy Scouts, and they were willing to build it for us. And what it came down to for me was it's recycled plastic that Uline has that will not rot. It's like forever. And if Boy Scouts are doing it, it's gonna be wood, but they're not forever. And it's also resistant to graffiti, whether it's plastic is, whatever kind of.
Yeah, it's like the stuff they make decks out of. What's the price difference there though? 'Cause the plastic stuff is usually pretty expensive.
Yes.
Pressure treated wood lasts a fair amount of time if you take care of it.
If it doesn't get used.
Well, which is
With the plastic,
an
we
issue.
end up used.
sounds like a really good Eagle Scout project.
It does, yeah, yeah.
That was my hope. I had approached them for that, and they already had their key little projects not done, not started, but all planned out what they wanted to do, so there's only 4 that are going for Eagle. So $3,500. I had hoped to get a grant, and the grants were all matching grants, and I was hoping to get a full grant, it'd be about $3,500. Do we have a forklift? When they deliver, we need a forklift. Do we have one?
We have a skid steer, we do not have a traditional forklift.
Probably, they probably got
But we have
forks
forks
or
for skid
something.
loader.
Yeah, they probably got it for the bucket loader or something.
There is a grant that does just this stuff by the Schuylkill Headlands. Unfortunately,
We just missed
we
it.
just missed the
Yep.
24.
Can we defer this to
Season.
later? Because this-
Well, I think there's other ways, you know, I mean, there are conservation groups that we could look into that do private funding and things like that as well. So, I mean, we don't have to make a decision on it tonight, it's just.
So the grants that I was shown or told about, all are matching.
Do you have any pictures of what you're looking to, if you could send me something, I might actually have some people that can take care of this for us.
Okay.
Kind of thing you'd see at a state park, you know, their information
Yeah,
center.
send me a picture, because then I can send it to some people that I think might be able to just pay for it for us. I'll look into it.
Great, okay. And then Boy Scouts could, thank you. You know, Boy Scouts could, install them, not, or assemble them, whatever.
Okay, is that all?
Yep.
Thank you. Elaine?
Okay, we have a part-time administrative position we've been trying to fill. At our last meeting, we were hoping to hire a candidate, Hensinger, Ms. Hensinger, and has declined to take that position. We looked at hiring a second person, that person was not interested in the position. So it's still open. Do you want Stacy to continue to advertise the position for a part-time administrative assistant? Is there any other suggestions on it?
Oh yeah, they still need the help.
So we'll have to re-advertise, so if there are any changes to the current advertisement, if everyone could let me know what those changes would be.
Sure.
Especially the rate. Because
Because
currently
this is
it's
not low skill, this is not a highly skilled position, it's really someone who could do your general clerical duties, right? So.
The second person also declined?
correct.
And what was there, just they weren't interested or?
Hourly rate.
Their
Hourly rate.
Low rate.
Okay.
Just a low rate.
So would you like us to revise that section of the advertisement?
Well, we have a range, don't we, in there now?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But we're always going with the lower rate, you know, and that's why.
I think we
were
in the middle.
We don't really need, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, please, Stacy, I don't think we need somebody with years of experience. This is just basic entry level sort of. Willing to do minutes, willing to wait on customers who come in, residents who come in.
I don't know, I think we said.
Just
so,
keep-
yeah,
we'll take
keep
the
it
course
right, because
we
you're
have.
fine with it.
Okay, thank you.
And then the other item on my list here would be to, ask council for approval to send a letter to Benetcon. That has to be done by June 30th, to inform them of terminating coverage through the Municipal Health Insurance Cooperative.
With the understanding that that's revocable.
Yes,
Yeah.
you understand, yes, thank you.
Because that's
Yes.
important with the
Yes.
negotiations.
Yes, with the understanding that can be revoked.
So,
You need a
So
motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
we
make a motion.
Approve it.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And who will be sending the letter?
Should we instruct Stacy to send that letter?
Yeah.
And should that be, Jane, should that be sent certified, so that there's a record that we
Yes.
sent that in time?
Yes, and anytime you're dealing with something time sensitive, you should.
And that concludes my report, unless anyone has any questions about council.
So do we have a plan in place to actively get pricing for other plans?
I thought we gotta wait till later in the year when they start putting those together. Is that
Well,
something?
the thing is we have to revoke it by
November 30th.
November
Yeah,
30th.
right.
That doesn't give us a very big window. We need to at least start collecting who we're going to
Information.
look for. Yeah,
Okay, well,
exactly.
Then, do we want to instruct Stacy to look into additional plans, or do we want to hire a consultant to maybe give some?
You know, it's actually something you'd be able to do.
I think that Mr. Boland had suggested,
He knew somebody.
that he knew somebody
Yeah, he
that
knows someone.
actually can give us advice.
Was that Mr. Warner that he referred to?
I don't recall.
I don't recall who it is.
I'll ask him when he gets back.
And if you wanna know, it's medical, dental, vision, disability, accidental death and dismemberment, and life insurance.
I think let's hold off on making a decision on whether we're gonna hire somebody or not before but we should certainly look into that.
Inquire and then we
Yeah.
have look into that.
All right, I'll ask him who his consultant is. I think I know the
Yeah,
person.
yeah, this is really just about the notice for now.
Sure,
But I'll
sure.
check into that.
Sorry about that.
But I think we had previously gotten some names of some vendors for getting pricing as well. Cause I think Charlie gave us a name a while ago. And I thought Joe did too. I don't remember though.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't recall who it was, but yes.
Could you please forward those names to us all?
I'll try to see if I can find it.
Yeah, and
Okay,
if I,
and Charlie, if you can.
yeah,
have
and
those.
once Mr. Bowling gets back, I'll ask him.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you. Dan,
I have no report tonight.
then Kathy, you're up.
Okay, I would like to request a motion to approve the bills and transfers as presented.
I'll make that motion.
I have a couple of questions.
Go
Checks
ahead.
that just a couple of checks that we wanted to ask you about. G-Works, that would be on the second page, the third page actually here.
Okay.
I'll look up the sixth one down.
So I've reported previously, Freedom Systems was purchased by G-Works.
G-Works.
So they're going to be our new software company.
Yes, that is
Freedom
G-Works.
Systems. And that's your software
For billing, accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll,
Yes,
and customer portal.
okay, gotcha.
yeah,
And
that's.
so is this a yearly fee or is this
That's set up, and partial year fee.
so 14,000, is that the right number? 14,500 is what we're spending to
That's set up and September through December, monthly service
so that's
for
a,
the
that's a
software.
quarterly fee?
That's only part. So if you want to break down, you'll need to look at the invoice itself to see the setup, which is once and done, and then monthly software licensing fees.
Okay. So we have a monthly licensing fee. Do you know approximately what that is per month? I mean, just ballpark.
Does this represent, sewer covers some, water covers some, general covers
Yeah, it's
some.
all broken down.
Okay, so it's broken down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but we're looking at setup and just for September, October, November, December, 4 months, $14,000? So, okay. And then the other question I had for you, Kathy, was down on the same page, we have process masters.
What's the date of the check?
It'd be May the 31st.
May 31st, process masters.
Who is process masters?
They supply some of the components like chemicals for processing at the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
Usually not the water treatment plant, but wastewater.
That's wastewater.
So when we were talking about
Okay.
trying to come into compliance with the new NPDES, we had to call them and ask them about copper and all of that.
Great.
Yes.
I think there were only two I had a question on, thank you.
Sure.
So we have a motion to approve the bills. Okay, need a second.
We need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed?
I would also just like to backtrack a little on Stacy's going to that conference. I know you think that it might be, repetitive, you know, like things that were gone over last year and things like that. A lot of times they're not. It will give her the insight into new laws and things like that, as to things that should be done that maybe aren't getting done right now, that haven't crossed her desk yet, or things like that. So I really would like council to reconsider allowing her to go to that conference. I understand
I
it's a
agree that
cost.
education is important, but we can probably find webinars and much less costly things that to keep, even on those same topics.
That
That might be
actual conference isn't been available that way.
probably, you know what I mean?
Okay, I just thought that I would.
No, I
Two cents into
appreciate
that.
you, yeah, appreciate your input.
Then
And I'm just, yeah,
that's all I have for finance.
thank you, Kathy. Since I see we have a representative from Fleetwood Police here now.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, I had all three meetings tonight, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, alright, let me just go over the numbers real quick for May. Total patrol miles was 1,042, patrol hours 120, 14 hours spent on doing reports. We had issued 17 traffic citations, 17 hours were spent on traffic checks. 25 vehicle stops, 4 hours spent on follow-up or investigative time. And then 2 incidents that the chief has noted here on May 9th. We had a weapons offense. Our detective is investigating a case where a person who's prohibited from purchasing or owning a firearm actually attempted to purchase a handgun. So charges were filed and a warrant was obtained for that person's arrest. And then on the 10th, there was a criminal mischief incident. Report of a reckless driver on private property that resulted in damage to a parked vehicle. We were able to identify all of the subjects involved. However, the victim declined to prosecute anyone after he was paid directly for the damages to his vehicle. And then just the chief has a note for the breakdown of the citations that were issued. 4 for speeding, 5 for parking, 2 were obedience to traffic control device citations, 2 for school zone violations, 2 inspection violations, 1 registration violation, and 1 insurance violation. And then just under projected activities, just to remind everybody that National Night Out is scheduled for Tuesday, August the 6th.
Anybody have any questions?
There were fireworks again. This
Um,
year, but I don't know where they were coming from. Lasted about half an hour, and from me, it was in the direction of the schoolyard.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a couple of them on Memorial Day too, but.
I mean, if you're looking for my
No,
input,
no,
I mean, first of all,
noting.
so
I know there's
obviously
something you
this
can do.
time of year especially, we do get those complaints. The biggest issue with them is tracking down where it's coming from. I mean, unless you're like, oh, I'm looking out my window and it's my neighbor across the street kind of thing. If it's just, I hear them and I can see them, I mean, it could literally be miles away. It could be in a jurisdiction that we don't even cover kind of thing. We have it in Fleetwood Borough, we have it in Richmond Township, it's the same sort of thing. So it makes it very difficult because you don't know where they're coming from. But just keep in mind too that the fireworks laws have changed in Pennsylvania. So basically, as long as people are not setting them off within 150 feet of an occupied structure, it's okay.
We have a stronger ordinance in Topton.
Okay.
It's 250.
That keeps, okay. So.
They shouldn't be, theoretically, they should not happen anywhere in the borough.
Right.
Even at a 150
Yeah.
foot distance, in most cases in a borough, in most boroughs, it would not be legal to use fireworks. The law was really meant for rural areas and.
Yeah, where you're out in the middle of a field and there's
Right.
nobody around, yeah. So again, I mean, it's not to say that you can't call those in, it's just a matter of, the biggest issue is being able to locate where they're actually being set off from. So if you can see it, by all means, call it in. But if it's something that you're like, well, it's, I'm looking out in the distance and it could be miles away, I mean,
It wasn't that far.
yeah, so if you can see
No,
it, I mean,
and I knew there would be no point in calling because by the time you would get here, that,
and just
not
to put
identified.
it out there, because not everybody knows, for those of you who are here, we do cover Topton 40 hours a week, okay? So even though we've been here for several years now, same with Ruskin Manor, there's still some sort of, word I guess hasn't gotten around to everybody. So we cover 40 hours a week down here. The rest of the time is state police. So if the best thing we can tell people to do is, because there is no set schedule for when we're down here, if it's obviously truly an emergency, you just need to pick up the phone call and whoever's covering will get dispatched. Don't waste time, again, in an emergency, trying to be like, oh, let me call Fleetwood or let me call PSP. Just call 911 and whoever's on duty will get dispatched, okay? But 40 hours a week is not a ton. So there are times, many times probably, that, fireworks complaints and things like that will be directed to state police, and they may or may not respond.
That was very polite.
Yeah.
Could I ask you,
Yes.
in regards to the signs that are on the streets now, there's been a couple issues, I know, on Home Avenue and the one on White Street now. One on Home Avenue is basically, the sign is right where handicap parking is, so cars have to basically come to almost a stop and go around because of, so what's the prerogative on where the sign should be?
That's a pedestrian crossing sign.
Yes, yes.
We just started.
Yeah, that's the point, is that you
Yes.
slow down and move around.
Yeah, but.
Well, people are actually going in the other lane.
Yes.
Because they can't, if no one's there, because there's a handicap space. I
And if
saw
somebody's
it.
parked there,
I saw it happen.
yes.
It's almost like where the crossing strip is on the road, it's too close to the handicap parking in front of the church, and it prohibits the distance that you can softly, you can't fit.
You can't.
So you gotta now go in the other lane. I saw that happen the one day I was on there. They were actually having some event there, and there were people actually stopping and going into the other lane. And I wish there was a way we could put that a little, maybe up closer to the intersection, but then we're
Well,
on the crossing.
That's my question, what's the prerogative on where that should be in regards to that?
It's on a crossing path, but it's kind of close to that handicap.
There's a handicap parking right there at the church that,
I saw that.
and today when I, went to leave, on White Street, the new one that they put on is right at where you turn into the alley.
No, that's not supposed to be there.
Well, it's there today, well, it was there.
Yeah, I know, if somebody thinks they're funny, that's fine.
I had a question for you about dispatch. I had a non-emergency incident at my residence in town, and I called the non-emergency number for Fleetwood.
No, on
We're doing it all.
And it wasn't during
But,
the hours you cover, so they transferred me to Berks County Dispatch, and they transferred me to State Police Dispatch. They dispatched the state police officer to my house, who was very irate, saying, well, you called 911. I said, no, I called the non-emergency Fleetwood number and got transferred around.
Okay, so when you say the non-emergency Fleetwood number, I don't know what you mean by that.
It's on your website for non-emergency calls. I called that number and
Did you
got
call our
transferred.
office, or did you call the Berks County non-emergency number?
No, I called the Fleetwood Police Department non-emergency number.
See, we,
610.
so we
I don't know
don't,
it.
we don't have a non-emergency number for our department. So if you called 610-944-7011, that is our office phone number, okay? If you called 610-655-4911, that is the Berks County non-emergency number. So do you know which one
I do not know exactly
Okay.
which number I called, but transferred me to the Berks County dispatch.
Well, okay, so what happens is if you call our office directly, after 4 PM, it rolls over to the
Okay.
non-emergency
And I
number.
explained to them it was not an emergency, I wasn't
Mhm.
calling 911,
Yeah.
I just had a concern.
Okay,
They transferred me to the state police dispatch, who dispatched a state police officer to my house in town, who was
Yeah.
very irate and said, well, you called 911. I said, no, I called the non-emergency number
right.
to report an incident.
Yeah, so if you got transferred to the Berks County non-emergency number and they saw that we were not on duty, then yes, they would have transferred you to state PSP's dispatch center. If PSP dispatched it to a trooper, that's on them. I'm surprised that they would dispatch a non-emergency call to them.
And it showed up at my
And that
house.
someone actually showed up, yeah, that's a little surprising.
He was very upset.
Well, that's too bad, that's his job,
You know,
that's his
he's
job.
trying to do the right thing and call the non-emergency.
Yeah, like I said, if you're calling our office directly, if it's after 4 PM, it will automatically roll over to Berks County
I
Dispatch.
didn't know that. Maybe
Yeah.
it's something we could put out that if we call you after 4.
And, yeah, but like I said, I mean, so we're not always on here, so if you called looking for us and we don't have somebody on, then it goes to state police anyways.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anything else?
So what was the resolve of the street crossing thing?
I haven't heard of any accidents or anything. I understand it's complicated, but it's meant to slow people down and make them stop and go around it.
But is that a safety issue when they have to go around to the other side of the
Is there any
street?
way we can move the one that's near the church, cause that's.
I understand which one you're talking about. I don't know if there's any rule on where exactly it has to be, but
Okay.
what you're describing is the intent.
Could we just put it on the other side of the crosswalk?
Yeah, I mean, we see if that works.
Well, the problem is that when people are parked, they're not, I mean, yes, they're going slow, that's the intent of it, and they are doing that. But now they're actually going into the other pathway of traffic.
Right, well, I mean,
Because
it's, you
there's not
know,
enough
we
room
can't
to
make our
stay.
rooms
Yeah,
wider,
it's
so.
because of where the parking space is, if that parking space, if it was up a little bit, uphill.
Yeah, we can try and see moving it up a little
then
bit
they
moves, but I mean,
could
it's
go
meant to be at the crosswalk. If we move
I
it too
know.
far away, then it's not doing what it's supposed to do,
I almost
so.
wonder if we could, I guess we can't move the crosswalk at some point, not now.
I think we're spending a whole lot of time, you know, trying to stop people from speeding down the street.
It is working though, I think it's working,
Yeah.
that, you know, people are slowing down.
But, I mean, we can look at moving it up a little bit to see if we can create a little bit.
I'm just curious because I don't think it's right that people have to,
Well, that's what it's supposed to do, so I'm gonna just disagree with you on
they're
that.
supposed to slow down, but they're not supposed to go in the other lane too.
Well, yeah, but that's the design. You wanna make the roads wider, Brian? You don't ever have a solution for anything, you just.
No, I'm just
complain
saying,
about
if the handicap wasn't there,
There would be no problem.
So what would you provide as a solution then?
We'll move it up.
Move the sign up.
yeah,
Okay, so then I just said we could try that.
I'm fine with that. I'm just bringing it to your attention, and I don't think, you know, it's not, no reason to get upset about it. I'm just bringing it to attention.
No, I
And that's what we're supposed to
Right.
do when we come to
Yeah.
meetings like this. We're supposed to bring it to your attention.
Yeah.
So why get upset about it?
Alright. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any other questions? Did I answer your question about the dispatch, like, or I guess I
Kinda,
just,
sorta. I mean, if I have an issue and I need to call the police, but it's
call
not emergency.
911. Or
What if-
call that it's 610-655-4911, that's the Berks County non-emergency line.
Okay.
They will tell you, like, if Fleetwood is on, then they will dispatch us, okay? But if we are not currently covering, it will get sent to state police.
So just call the county now,
Correct.
or 911.
Yeah, don't call our office because that's what'll happen. I mean, and even if someone's there, if you call before 4 o'clock and somebody answers, whoever answers, probably our secretary, is gonna look. And if we don't have somebody on duty in Topton, she's gonna tell you have to call state police.
Okay,
Okay.
that clears it up.
Does that clear it up? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Good. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Take
good
care. Yep. Until.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. Have a good night.
Community report, I don't have too much to say. I stopped by Swamp Fest next door. It was a good time on Saturday. It looked like everybody was enjoying it. They had a cool canine demonstration from some officers. That was pretty cool to see and stuff. I wanted to just give some congratulations to the girls softball team on a hell of a season. I'm sure everybody caught the parade they got from the firehouse. It's pretty cool that you know, we get to do that stuff in our community, even if it's, I know it probably ruffles some people, but it's short and it's well deserved for them. So, and we have Community Day coming up at the end of the month on the 29th. So everybody, you know, come out and check that out. It's gonna start about 10 o'clock in the morning, so that everybody can get their early morning yard sales throughout town and stuff, and come down and see what the community groups have going on. Cheer's gonna be there, the Scouts will be there, library's gonna be setting up, some of the churches. We have some local people, you know, side businesses and things that they'll be setting up, so come out and check it all out. Be a good time. And I guess this is kind of on Eric's thing, but we also have the rec committee meeting Wednesday night at 6 or 6:30.
In the pavilion.
6:30 in the pavilion.
6:30, and out in the pavilion this time. Hopefully it'll be nice enough. Because planning commission's in here.
Correct, at 7 p.m.
Yeah, planning commission.
So don't come in here.
So. And that's all I got. So, Eric, you're up.
All right, the logging on the watershed property is moving along. They're still marking trees, and it looks like they'll be marking trees for quite a while yet. But that's where we are with that. The old galley project, I'm gonna defer to Charlie, if that's okay with you, as far as the status.
I believe he was still getting information back that was my last communication with Brian. He needed information back on the water.
Right, and he redid the plans.
Yep.
Based on those additions and corrections and revisions.
And we were waiting on scoping back from DCNR, their approval of the change.
Okay, that's where we are with that. We're waiting on permits from the First County Conservation District for filling in the pool. We should have that shortly.
Any day.
Any day, so we can get that project started. You took care of the recreation committee meeting, so that's all I have.
I would like to add something
Sure.
to Eric's from last month. We approved for the restrooms to be open in part till 9 p.m. Well, there's issues already. To the point where Friday, Public Works had to go into the men's restroom, and I had to wash everything up, first of all, for anybody to even get in there, to work on the toilet. I don't know how they actually ended up getting it open, because they had overflown it the night before. I could tell by the residuals all over the floor. You can imagine what the residuals were, okay?
It was clogged, the toilet.
Oh, it was clogged, toilet paper and other things. And, like I said, Public Works had to open it. I had scrubbed so that they could even go in to work on the toilet. This morning when I got there, I opened up the door and I smelled it right away in the men's restroom. All over the floor. It was on the wall, like they must have scraped their shoe along the wall. Yeah, luckily I could flush the toilet this morning. It wasn't overflowed and all over the floor, but there were other things all over the floor this morning. These are things that it has been nonstop, again, since the restrooms are open till 9 o'clock at night.
Do we have any timeline on when these things are happening?
No, I have no idea, but the thing is though, it's like, I don't feel that Public Works should have to be going in there and cleaning up those things. We're the ones that voted to let those restrooms open till 9 o'clock at night. I get that they're doing what we consider their job, but that's not fair to them. I mean, I can always call a council member if they want to gladly come over and take a look at it and help to clean it up, but you know, it's not right. This is constant.
We need to
This is
change- we need to do
deliberate,
some
this is deliberate vandalism.
Oh, it definitely is,
Destruction of our
it
property.
definitely is. I mean, the first night that the restrooms were open till 9 o'clock, the next morning when I came over, somebody had urinated from the door frame all around the men's restroom and all up the wall, and came back again to the other side of the door. How they did that, I don't know. If that was one person, God bless them. You know, paper towels all over the place, they're shoving them in the toilets, they're taking the toilet paper and putting it in the toilet. They're not flushing the toilets when they're done. They're just, it's, once again, it's just off the wall again.
I think we have to change the hours.
It's gonna have to go back.
Yeah.
I mean, unless somebody wants to volunteer to help clean them.
What we need is volunteers to find the perpetrators of these issues and
The
address
thing
them.
is, you can't, the only way that you're gonna find exactly who it is that's doing that is if you have somebody right outside that restroom, and the minute that they come out, you make them stand there and wait, and you go in and check. And believe me, you don't wanna go in there and check after they leave that restroom. You would not, if you would see, all you need to do is see it one time. I'm not taking pictures of it. I'm sorry.
Well, we should not be cleaning that either.
No.
We should
But
get a
it's
professional
like-
cleaning service to clean that.
It goes down the drain, which is, thank God, connected to the sewer. I have the spray, I spray it, I make it wet, and I had to let it sit this morning because it was caked on the floor from their shoes and on the wall.
What did we have for the hours last year? I don't know.
Was it two?
And we had 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
That was during the
Honestly,
school year though.
no, it was
No,
year
it was
round.
summer.
It went year round.
Yeah, we did it all of last year.
I guess
Yes.
we just have to go back to that. and I guess.
I mean,
I personally, I feel like we go to that, and if it's still a problem, we close them.
We close them all together.
Which is terrible, but
there
I mean,
is
at some
no,
point, you'll have to, you know,
There is
it's almost
no
like has to
law.
be policed itself, you know what I mean? If
Yeah,
people want the
there's-
bathrooms to be open, we're all gonna have to, you know.
yeah,
find
and
a way
there's
to
no
make it
law
stop.
that says that, that the municipality has to provide
No.
public restrooms for them. Somebody obviously does not appreciate them. You know, it's like, you come to a park, how many other parks have flushed toilets for
And
you?
we spent all that money on the park so people could enjoy it, and I know people who can't come to our park because they need a restroom, they're taking their grandchild and they need a restroom.
But, you know, it's like you let them open and then you have this. Or what they do, 2 times that the deadbolt, what they do is they go in before they lock, and then they turn the deadbolt on. So that the restroom door doesn't close, so that when the kids are out all night long,
Oh.
then
So
they,
it's
then they
propped.
have access to it, it's propped open. I mean, we're gonna end up with the same issue as what we just had the end of April, that the guys are gonna have to dig the sewer pipes up soon. You know, you can't be doing the paper towels and everything like they are, you know, and flooding everything.
I wish you would've said something sooner, because that was at our last meeting.
And, well, we had to give it time, you know, to see what was going to all be happening, and it started happening pretty much right away. Pretty much,
Well,
you
that's
know,
right, we'll go back to
the minute Jesse changed cause I think he changed them, Stacy, the very next day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next
and
day after
it's-
that, yeah.
So our meeting was the 13th, and by the 15th it was already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Are there any cameras?
you cannot have cameras that chime into the restrooms. And the thing
The
is,
problem is you need,
But
is that,
you,
yeah,
you could see, you
who's going in and out,
could track
but,
who's going in
right,
and
but you
out.
need like a before and after of what the bathroom looks
But the
like.
bathroom-
No, I get
Yeah.
that, but sometimes.
you'd have to have somebody literally standing outside the restroom door and check after everybody goes in, comes out, goes in, comes out.
And what hours does the YMCA day camp run?
9 a.m. to 1
9:30, 9
p.m.
o'clock to 1?
9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yeah, so that's the first half of the day.
Yeah, but yeah, they are not very appreciative of having
Yeah.
the restrooms that they have. Sorry to take up
Nope.
more of the time.
We need a motion for that to change the hours.
No, we
No.
didn't need a motion, just said it.
No, I think that's just a directive, there's no expenditure involved.
All right, Michelle.
So current balance on, water and sewer bills is a little over 16,000. Currently, we have 4 payment plans. The DECA meter was put in, Saturday the 8th. Staff did a reading to verify that it's working correctly, so hopefully that'll be a big help. Currently, we have 80 unpaid accounts. Final notices will be posted to doors July 2nd with payment July 5th. Due to the July 4th holiday, terminations wouldn't be till Monday the 8th. We already talked about Celia and Marshall. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Washington Street Pump Station status, it's going back out to bid here shortly.
Yes.
And, hopefully, second meeting in July, hopefully we'll be awarding it to somebody.
I've had conversations with contractors and vendors to make sure we have bidders.
I know some of us were in the room earlier and we were talking about to get that passed, but without pushing it to August all the way, we'd have to call the second meeting in July, but if that's the only topic, I don't think we'd be here for more than half hour, 20 minutes,
To award the bid?
Yeah.
Yes.
You got bids now?
No, we anticipate having one.
If
If
somebody
we had bids now, we would award it tonight.
If somebody wants to bid, where should they send it?
It will be pin bid.
It's electronically on the internet.
On what site? Pen bid?
Pin bid, yes.
It's up there now, or it's
No,
going
it will
up?
be up, end of this week, beginning of next.
Next is the wastewater treatment plant NPDES permit. Called for Charlie.
So the draft permit did get posted on the PA bulletin, which starts the 30 days. It'll be out next week. We're getting that letter out to them on the cost. They're not gonna change anything based on the letter, but it should help us if we have violation issues.
Is that regarding copper and phosphorus?
Copper and phosphorus.
Okay, and last is the PHFA's PAHAF, too many letters.
I know.
That thing program, it's essentially a homeowner assistance fund to help with delinquent water and sewer charges. Anybody have questions or suggestions before we discuss if we're gonna approve?
They had answered, I had several questions,
Yeah.
Stacy passed them along to, the organization, and, they were satisfactorily answered.
What were your concerns?
The first concern was whether the, receipt of funds would prevent disconnection of utilities if the amount's insufficient to cover the entire delinquency or the individual becomes delinquent again. The answer was that the maximum assistance is $10,000 for utilities. They can't force execution of a shutoff. They encourage not to shut off. If a shutoff does occur, they add the amount owed to reinstate service onto the debt verification. Once PAHAF has dispersed funds, it's up to the homeowner to continue payments. This is a one-time assistance. Any delinquency going forward follows vendor protocol for shutoff. That was the first answer. So it's not preventing a shutoff if they become delinquent again. And it's an encouragement not to shut off services, but doesn't require that we not do it. The second question was about security, whether the borough was required to have encrypted email or electronic security measures to qualify as a vendor, because of some language in the agreement. And the answer was, if you have secure email, feel free to use it. It's understood that the vendor acknowledgement states that communication will be via encrypted message. However, due to complications with the Exchange account, we're unable to do so. It is not a requirement. So confirm that we don't have to get expensive encryption software. And then I asked also if a utility shutoff has to be imminent for the borough to receive funds to apply to any owner's account. What is meant by imminent? And their answer was the homeowner has to be 30 days delinquent in order for the program to assist. There doesn't have to be immediate danger of shutoff. So those were my questions, and those answers were satisfactory.
I mean, for me, as long, if there's a way to help people that are really struggling to pay their bills and it doesn't cost us anything, I don't really see a downside.
Yeah, and this program, I actually was surprised to see it because I thought that this program had been discontinued with the end of the pandemic emergency last year, so it surprised me that it was still there. But it was a good program then and now.
Does anybody else have questions about this?
Is there a salary range to be eligible for that? Do you know? If you don't,
Oh, income level you're talking about?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sure there is.
Yes. We can get you more information on that, but it's not in this agreement before council because this is to sign up as a vendor,
Okay.
not the application for the program itself, but I can get that to you.
Do you know their website, or can I just plug in these things and I can maybe get
Probably,
some?
yeah, if you put in the letters,
I can probably get some.
it'll come up, yeah.
Alright.
Maybe that's something that would be good to put in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because I think a lot of, I mean, that's why I was wondering what it was, because a lot of people might think, well, I work unqualified, for example, and not even bother looking.
Well, no, you're right, because the other one, what's the other one?
Yeah, that
Right,
LIHEAP. Mhm.
Right, that has like a pretty strict income limit.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. So I guess we'd be looking for a motion to register as a provider or vendor for this.
I'll make,
Go ahead.
I'll second it, Ken.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so,
And I'll just do the one time here real quick. The last 10 have been ordered. Once they're received and put up, we'll be at 110 hanging in the borough. And believe it or not, we're coming up on 2 years.
yeah,
in
so,
November.
that's cool.
So it's been pretty successful, and knock on wood, not too many have been damaged thus far. I think
Cool.
3.
So we're gonna start seeing the first ones come down then pretty soon?
Sometime after November, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Charlie?
Just a couple of things that we didn't cover already. Noting that we're getting into the annual report season for MS4, so that'll be hitting this summer. The public works roof is done, but there's still a warranty inspection and a couple minor things left to do. Carrying through that, I did put the timeline for Washington Street in there. Those were the big additional ones. The well, we're still working with DEP. They're slower than slow right now across the board.
Okay.
Do we have any time frame for the chlorine contact?
I can't do anything that charges against it until the agreements are all
Once you get all
signed.
this stuff.
Otherwise, you can't count any expenses that we do that are incurred before the agreement signed. It's real simple. I actually teed somebody up for it. I just needed that execution. There's no real design. It's rehab, so most of the paperwork is the front end. So
It'll probably get done this year.
I expect it to be bid for your August meeting. Provided the agreement's signed,
Yeah.
next year, we should be able to turn that around.
Isn't that always the case?
There's no permits or anything else involved in it at all.
Oh, that's fine.
No need, and they wanted to look at it, towards the end of the summer, and so it's a quick process. So speak up, turn it.
Cool. All right, thank you, Charlie. Monica, anything from the ambulance board?
So at last meeting, I had asked about the reimbursement and possibly changing that, and it was mentioned about the audit. So I did go back and inquire as to who was taking care of that. That audit is actually being taken care of. A board member, does work for an accountant, and their firm takes care of our audit for us as a cost-effective measure. I just wanted to update you because at last meeting, I thought Long Swamp was taking care of it, because they initially did when we first added the tax. Long Swamp had been taking care of that, so, but that has changed, just to update you on that.
Okay.
And I didn't know if you would, any further discussion on changing reimbursement to like twice per year versus submission of bills. I understand covering yourself with your audit and keeping it the same, I understand that. If you don't wanna have further discussion, just let me know.
How does everybody feel about that, or does anybody have any expanded thoughts on what we discussed last time?
At this point, I would recommend probably keeping it the way it is,
I'm good.
right now, or,
That's fine.
you know, if that doesn't throw a wrench into you guys either.
And we can even ask our auditors when they come in to present, pose that question to them.
Yes.
If our procedures currently need to be adhered to, or if there's flexibility and we can do it a different way.
Okay, thank you, that's
Yeah.
appreciated, yeah,
Yeah.
since they're here anyway, yeah.
Check.
I mean, is
Thank
it
you.
causing major problems for them? I wouldn't,
No, but it would be nice to have everybody the same. We would both be the only outlier then, by not doing the disbursements 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
Since the other communities are gonna be doing that.
Gotcha.
And, we did some fundraising at Swamp Fest, we did pretty good. Our meeting is on Thursday, so I don't know dollar amount, but we did pretty good. It was fun, feeding people.
Good.
Alright, thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Carol, anything from the preservation board?
We did not have a meeting, this past month. I think you all have Larry's extensive write-up of everything that went on around him, and I guess the bottom line important fact is that the museum, which is what our oversight is, not the cemetery, the museum has in the bank $33,582.85.
Sure. So if there's nothing else, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No feelings alone.
We put in for it.
What?
Did-
Okay.
Excuse me.
What do you think?